This model could be helpful to you when you're looking at esophagus versus stomach versus small intestine. We talked about those 4 layers of the GI tract in class, right? You've got mucosa, and then you have submucosa, muscularis, 2 layers of muscularis, inner and outer, and then the serosa on the outside. So these 4 layers are going all the way down here. This section is showing you what it looks like in the esophagus. Lots of stratified squamous epithelium right here in the mucosa. This section is showing you what it looks like in the stomach. You can see that mucosa goes down into gastric pits, and if you look at the lumen, that's what it looks like. So this section is what your stomach looks like. This section is looking at your small intestine. You can see those villi that are poking outward. When you look at the lumen, it's very bumpy because of all those villi that are poking out. So this section is small intestine. This section is looking at large intestine. You see more of those intestinal crypts that go downward instead of outward, but you still see those same 4 layers. They just look a little bit different as you go down the GI tract. So I like this model. And if while you're reviewing slides, if you look at those, it may be useful to have this next to you. Or if you haven't had lab yet, if you have Thursday lab, have this next to you and reference this compared to what you're looking at under the microscope.
So you would ask, like, which, if you come to a whole layer, like, you would ask if this is esophagus or small intestine and whatnot? Like, if you have those steps.
I could ask you, on this model, I could ask you, is this esophagus or stomach or small intestine? I could ask you, just in general, in any of these layers, I point to mucosa, submucosa, muscularis, serosa, and have you tell me which layer of the GI tract, just in general.
How about types of cells within the layer?
No.
Stuff on the back.
No. So the stuff on the back is talking about specific types of cells that you can find within the intestinal crypts or in the gastric pits and stuff like that. Don't worry about that for your lab exam. Do know the different types of cells and what substances they secrete for your lecture exam next week. But I'm not going to have you label them. You won't have to label them.